In today's video, we talk about the Iraqi early elections and the problems facing the elections, plus how Iraq, America, and Australia are handling the extraction of citizens from India, and the digital currency craze, also known as central banks' digital currency versus Bitcoin. I'm Sandy Ingram. And as you know, there are 7 basic factors that help determine a country's foreign currency rate. Here on the Education Matrix channel, we share news surrounding these factors for the Iraqi dinar, the Malaysian ringgit, the Vietnam dong, and the Zimbabwe dollar. Are you ready? Let's get started. In October of 2021, Iraqis are set to go to the polls for early elections. One of the main debates surrounding the early elections is the degree of involvement of the United Nations. Now, many political elites have called for an observational role for the UN, whereas many of the protesters within Iraq have concerns about integrity of Iraqi-run elections and are calling for more extensive involvement through supervision by the UN. Somewhere down the road, protesters got it into their heads that UN involvement can ensure electoral integrity, help restore trust in democracy, and grant the elections legitimacy. The good news is both sides, the political elite and the protesters, have requested the UN's involvement. The question is, to what degree will the UN be involved? The article explains the different services the UN can provide. The link to the article is in the description. Now, additional news surrounding this same topic show that Iraq's parliament speaker is in Erbil to discuss election security with Kurdistan Prime Minister. So there is a lot of talk and preparation for the early elections in October. In this next story, you will see just how countries react differently to different situations. Iraq begins the evacuation of its citizens stranded in India. In fact, Iraq sent an aircraft to pick up Iraqi citizens in India. At the same time, or last week, the U.S. State Department called for all U.S. citizens to return home from India, while Australia took a different approach. Australia told its citizens you can be fined $51,000 and be placed in prison for 5 years if you are caught boarding a flight home to Australia if you have been in India. People, this should give you an indication of just how bad the virus or this new strand is in India. Moving on to digital currency and the central banks, also known as CBDCs. The promise and the pearl of central bank digital currencies. This is an article that talks about the differences in privately enabled digital currencies like Bitcoin and the central banks around the world. It will give you an idea of how digital currency will work. The bottom line is central bank says a country's digital currency will be based on a country's currency values. If you are an investor in Bitcoin or thinking about Bitcoin, you may want to read or listen to the entire article. Now, let's take a look at currency exchange rates against the US dollar.